How are we doing, Beatstar players? This is iRoaster505 here, and welcome back to another Beatstar Editorial. We have the Season 51 review here from Tour Pass. People always speculate here were all three alternative seasons from 49 to 51. People do speculate if Season 51 is the best alternate season. Only one way to find out. Let's jump into it. With Season 51, the theme here is called Mic Drop. In other words here, this is basically a rundown of the old past hip-hop and R&B songs you may recognize in Beatstar, of course the popular ones. And in this season of alternate charts, we have 4 normals, the basics, 4 hards, also the basics, and 1 extreme here. And I am very surprised how decent this lineup is of popular hip-hop and R&B songs. But will they live up towards the already mediocre bar of the alternate charts? Let's see. Let's get into it. The first song we'll be looking at here is DNA by Kendrick Lamar, being an alternate normal. Basically, what I'm actually looking over here is that the original charting here was actually not that hard as an original standard hard. So basically downgrading it a bit to a normal here wasn't a bad idea. I do think here it does a good job of teaching new players about how to deal with Kendrick's vocals. Obviously, it's not as great as the original here, which I do give it an A, but I do think it's a solid chart nonetheless. I'm going to give DNA Alternative a B+. Definitely an interesting chart here, and definitely not one that I would go back on, but I had fun playing it. Next up, we have Montero by Lil Nas X here. Similar to DNA here, Montero wasn't that hard one to begin with in the standard, so basically downgraded to normal I'm not against. Although, unlike DNA, I find more boring parts in this one than usual here. This one definitely does help players learn certain tricks here with actually some of the more taps over here, but what made the standard, at least for me, interesting was how much they actually charm more of X's vocals. When they make it loose here in the normal, it kind of loses its grasp a bit. The final stage is good with the doubles, but the rest is just pretty meh. I'm going to give Montero Alternate a B. If you like it, that's perfectly fine. I just stick with the standard. And next we have, no, this is not a joke, Godzilla by Eminem as an alternate normal. This is just too funny not to mention here. Taking the original standard extreme, one of the hardest extremes in the game, well, probably not anymore, and turning it into a normal. This was easier said than done by a long shot. It feels very odd to play everything so undercharted here, and honestly it does ruin the flow about what the song was going for. But as much as a half-ass, it is hilarious to see how much they really went with this. Overall, I give the chart a C, but though it is an S tier for this practical joke, and it does remain a memento as a hilarious pun. And lastly, the 4th normal, Drop It Like It's Hot by Snoop Dogg featuring Pharrell Williams. I must say, it is probably quite hard to underchart Snoop Dogg's vocals here, but like, the rest of the charts on this list aside from Godzilla, the standard wasn't as hard, so downgrading wasn't a bad idea. I do think that this one definitely did the best of the normals this season. It definitely knew where to actually downgrade between Pharrell and Snoop Dogg's verses here, and I will say the final stage here is actually really good, and actually does everything perfectly nice in a solid way with the swipes and a nice little undercharting. I'm going to give this one though a B+ as well though. I might replay it once in a while here, but again, I probably play the deluxe because it's amazing. And now, starting off with the hards, we have Hey Ya by Outkast. Probably the 4th song in the whole entire encore to get a standard normal, a deluxe extreme, and just a hard alternative. What really feels weird to me now is that this is apparently mainstream pop. It's not subgenre hip-hop, it's just pop. Anyways, I really think that this chart is actually really fun. Obviously, it's trying to downgrade from the extreme, but it actually kept so many great things like the jumping, the micros, and the whole taps and swipes, really make it something really good that I will say really deserves all the hype. I'm going to give this one an A. I don't know if I consider this better than the deluxe, but it's pretty dang close. Next up, we have Dilemma by Kelly Rowland featuring Nelly. This one's a pretty strange one to be fair. The standard was a normal, the deluxe was a hard, so obviously trying to be in the middle of it's gonna be kind of odd to figure out, but I do think that this chart definitely knew where it was trying to make me accomplish. I was actually surprised how engaging this was. The final stage in hand is actually really good here and actually trying to lean towards Nelly's vocals, and the swipes here actually dedicating itself to the upbeat rhythm really helps the chart stand out. I'm gonna give this one an A- over here. It's kinda a little straightforward in places, but if you're just gonna turn your brain off and actually try to enjoy how much fun you're gonna have here, then I think it's definitely worth the thrill. Next we have Sunflower by Post Malone and Swai Lee. What concerns me is how season 34 only had 2 hards, and I always wonder what would happen if they actually overcharted one of the other normals. Sunflower alternate gave me my answer, and surprisingly I like this more than snooze and deep cuts, which is hilarious. Obviously it's as easy as those ones, but I do think this one has a really nice chill nature to it. It has a really nice way to actually figure out ladder and patterns with new players here, and the swipes do feel smooth and amazingly done. It actually helps new players understand how to actually play some really interesting hip-hop and R&B. So I'm going to be giving this one an A. Definitely on the easy side of the encore or alternate hards, but definitely one I do like playing. And the close on the hards, we have Crazy by Gnarls Barkley. Wow, this one really surprised me. This one does not have a deluxe over here, but call me crazy, this is the best hard chart of the entire season. And it does something really interesting that Clocks did in season 50. Since it didn't have a deluxe, it took full advantage of what gimmicks it wanted to do here. The patterns and holds here are really fun, the swipes are placed nicely here, and the ending is so amazing. I cannot believe how well this one turned out. I'm going to be giving this one an A+. Definitely one that exceeded my expectations, but not sure how the deluxe will actually fare better than that. And last but not least, we have Anaconda by Nicki Minaj. It always baffles me why Beatstar always used this Nicki Minaj song amongst all the other ones. Maybe it's because it's her most popular one, but I digress. I can't believe I'm saying this, but this alternate stream is actually the best chart of the entire song. I'm serious. This one outdid itself with how many patterns they want to throw at you. The speed is pretty quick by the final stage. The patterns are numerous with the stackings, the micros, and the stairs. The energy is very high, and the use of the standard cut proved to me that this should have been the definitive version for the deluxe. The deluxe was good, but nowhere near as great as this. I'm going to be giving this one an A+. I am very surprised how much I enjoy this, though song-wise is a different story for many. And last, overall, season 51 proved to be the best alternate season in my opinion. Most of these choices were really great. Some had great uses with the gimmicks for what they wanted to do here. Heck, even Godzilla got a few laughs out of me. I say that this season gets a 7.5 out of 10, which is around a B+ on my scale. However, I do think the issue still stands for these seasons are getting more frequent with the encores and, in all honesty, getting kind of stale. I really wish they would stray away from putting alternate charts in Tour Pass and just putting in journeyer events, but I guess time will tell what will happen. I really wish that happens. But yeah, we reached the end of the video. Thank y'all so much for watching this video that took so long to make. I don't know if I will be reviewing season 52, but I heard a lot of positive things about it, so I might want to give it a try. But anyways, thank y'all so much for watching, and have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.